Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl, absolutely April, and I'm here for another video. If you're new to my channel, I do reality recaps and reviews on some of your favorite reality shows. Today we're going to do Married at First Sight. We're on episode 11, and what is the name of this? It says Back to Our Future. That's what I'm going to be talking about today on Married at First Sight. And I have a lot of thoughts. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe to my channel, comment down below. I like to be interactive. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for any uploads. And if you have viewed more than one of my videos and you have subscribed, welcome back. Try it. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And again, thank you for watching my videos. So let's get into it. We on episode 11 for Married at First Sight. When I tell you the shenanigans on this episode, I have a lot of thoughts. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So Justin is still outside trying to figure out what happened between him and Alexis. Y'all remember the last episode, he and Alexis got into it at the dinner where they were supposed to be talking as couples about their progress. Okay, so Alexis walks outside to discuss things with Justin. And you know how she says, baby, what's wrong, baby? So Alexis walks outside to discuss things with Justin. And Justin asks, Alexis if they're good. And Alexis is trying to figure out, how did we get here, baby? How did we get here? Okay. So Justin says, the way he looked at it is that she's normally positive, she's normally bubbly. And when it came to the question about how their progress is, she shut down. So that threw him off. And he said, and she was like, and he said, you were just sitting there. And she was like, but I was at a table. I mean, we were sitting at dinner. I don't know if you would call that gaslighting, but it is definitely something because she be trying to play on your intelligence like, I don't know that you got an issue. So Alexis said that in the moment when she feels like that, check on her and see if she's feeling lonely or whatever. She wants him to check in on her to see if she's feeling isolated. But Justin was absolutely spot on. He said that it felt to him that you didn't want to hurt his feelings, or she didn't want to say anything negative to spare his feelings. That's exactly what she said in her confessional last week. We're not crazy, Alexis. We heard the same thing. So now you're trying to flip it on him and say, yeah, you need to just check on me. At that time, I felt like you were wanting to know the progress of you, and it wasn't about you at that time. So, yeah, to me, in my humble opinion, Alexis is full of crap. Justin was spot on in his assessment of the whole situation. She didn't want to call him out, which is why she shut down. She didn't want Justin to start crying. She didn't want it to get an emotional thing. And I get it because all of those emotions can wear you out. But let's call a thing, Alexis. Justin was right in the situation. So moving on, Morgan arrives at Kristen and Mitch's apartment, and Ben arrives as Sasha and Nate's apartment. So Lindy asked Morgan, like, what's going on, girl? What's going on? Morgan says, and I got to read my notes for this because I don't want to miss a thing. So Morgan says she spoke to Alexa and felt that Ben is lying and talking about her behind her back. Now let's revisit the last episode. I wish I had some clips for y'all. I'm going to figure out how to do it so we can insert some clips because the lies, in my Carly Red voice. But anyways, she said that last episode, did we not say that Alexis went and snitched to Morgan. Now she's saying her and Alexis just talked and she felt like Ben was lying, keeping something from her. Now, which one is it? Is it that you felt Ben was lying, or is it that Alexis came and snitched? Like, stick with your stories because it's becoming confusing at this point. So Ben is telling the guys that he's been talking to Justin and been lying about talking to Morgan. I'm sorry. Ben tells the guys that he was talking to Justin and he had been lying to Morgan about talking to Justin. And he says it's because when they argue, he can't get a word in edgewise. And he goes to vent his frustrations to Justin because Justin, he can get all of his feelings out. And he tries to watch what he says, but he says that when they are having discussions, he tries to watch what she says because she holds on to any little thing, like she holds on to every little thing he says, and then she's unforgiving. So back to the last episode when she threw the roses down and Ben was trying to talk to her, was she not over talking him? So that is a prime example of how a discussion goes with Morgan. She talks over, she bulldozes, and does not let you get your thoughts out. And Ben is the type of person that he's not quick like that. He's not quick. And because he knows that whatever he says is going to get scrutinized and she's going to get frustrated and hold a grudge, he's being overly cautious about everything he's saying to Morgan. And I don't see how Ben does it. Like that's too stressful. That's way too stressful of a marriage to be in. So Mitch chimes in and says venting in their situation that they're in, being married at first sight is normal, and that's a stupid reason for having an issue. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. So Justin says he feels like Morgan wasn't ready for marriage, and she just wanted someone she can vent to, but doesn't want to reciprocate it. This is what Justin is saying in his little confessional. And I think that he's partially right, but Justin, you need to be worrying about if Alexis is ready for marriage. Like a lot of this is because you dipping and dabbing in what Ben got going on. So back to Morgan and the ladies. Morgan tells the ladies that she took Ben back after the honeymoon and after he backstabbed her and gave him another chance, and to find out that he's still doing it after how she felt. He could have just talked to her. The entire time she feels that it's been all about Ben. He keeps lying to save face for himself and to validate himself with other people. He shows up different to everybody. That was her whole soliloquy monologue about Ben. Now, Morgan appears to me that she does not have self-awareness because it has not been all about Ben. Ben has been tiptoeing around to accommodate you, Morgan. And she doesn't know, I don't know if she knows how she comes across. She stomps around. She has like this negative attitude. I don't even know how she's a nurse. Not saying she ain't a nurse, but so you know how some nurses just do not have bedside manner. I'm almost feeling like she doesn't have good bedside manner. Like you be around here like jerking people around and stuff. Like she just rubs me the wrong way. So to me, she's been overbearing, and Ben is a docile guy and doesn't speak up for himself, and he just allows her to bulldoze him. I just don't feel like Morgan makes it a soft place for Ben to really talk and really be vulnerable. Like, I think Ben feels like he has to be self-deprecating in order to get any type of emotion or any type of feeling from Morgan. So I understand exactly why Ben vents to others, but Ben also, I'm going to be fair, Ben does need to stand up for himself. Ben needs to speak up for himself. If Ben does not feel he has done anything wrong, he should say that. Do not just try to appease Morgan, please. And I've said it before. Ben has a lot of naivete. He's very naive, so he is. It doesn't appear like he's really been in a serious relationship, and I think that's what he said in some previous episodes, is that he did not have a previous relationship to that was of substance since college. So yeah. Um, and also, Ben keeps entrusting the wrong person. You're venting to Justin. Ben, get it together. Stop going to daggone Justin. Justin got you in trouble the last time. So stop venting to Justin, because Justin is very sloppy and Alexis got loose lips. Leave them alone, Ben, if you are trying to work on your marriage. There's nothing wrong with venting. Everyone vents when they want to. It's not a big deal, but the big deal is that loose lips sink ship, and that is Alexis. Let me make sure I got everything. So Lindy is saying in her confessional that Ben is figuring himself out and what he needs, and it's not a good place to be in a marriage and a relationship. Lindy, shut up. Worry about you. You need to worry about your outbursts. Worry about the crazy that you want Miguel to see. Worry about that, because that's what's troubling. So yeah, Morgan tells the ladies that they are now separated. Sasha asks if he's tried to reach out, and Morgan says it's been radio silent. Really, really, Morgan, you gonna just continue to lie? Like, I believe that she don't even think she lying because she believes this. You basically have left the man. He can't talk to you, so he doesn't even know what to say to you at this point. And he tried to run after you after you threw his roses down. When I felt like he should have just left you sitting there he should have looked at the producers and said, "I can't do it." Right after that. So Ben tells the guys they are scheduled to see Dr. Pepper. God help the whole doc. I hope Dr. Pepper comes with some good advice, but she doesn't. So Mitch asked if Morgan gives him grace, would he work it out? Ben says he would take the 8 weeks to make a decision. Ben, just run, Ben. I know, Ben, you probably don't like failure and you would see it as a failure, but some things don't need rehashing. This thing with Morgan, she is emotionally, psychologically, she is not healthy for you, Ben. And staying in a relationship with her is not going to make it any better. It's not. She is clearly in an unhealthy mindset, and she needs her own therapy. Y'all both need to just be on separate ends of the of the room. Stay away from each other. You are not healthy for each other. Together, you are toxic. So Morgan says she's at this point that she has to defend herself from all the lies. She says he is with the guys right now, and God knows what he's saying. Newsflash, you're with the ladies, and God knows what you're saying because you're spewing a whole bunch of lies. Like, why can't he talk to the guys? You're talking to the ladies. Morgan, you are overbearing. You are straight overbearing. Like, you can do something, he can't do it. You are straight up and down bullies, and I can't stand bullies. Okay. Kristen says that she knows Morgan wants to be married, but it seems like she's tired and just needs some help. Yes, self-help. That's exactly what she needs. She needs to go get some therapy. Kristen suggests to go over to Sasha's where the guys are, and all the ladies jump up and say, "Let's go. It's girl power." No, do not back that crap up. Not one of y'all, not one of y'all. Hell, none of y'all held Morgan accountable for what she is doing. None of y'all are holding her accountable. And maybe it is because you're just hearing her side and you're not hearing Ben's side. But I'm hoping y'all are watching the show now, and I'm hoping during the reunion y'all hold her accountable because she's nuts. Moving on, let's see. Mitch asked Ben, how he's feeling, and Ben said he done lost 7 pounds and he been breaking out. So Ben can't eat, can't sleep. He's stressed out. He breaking out. Ben, she ain't worth it. Get your glow back. Get your nice little cute smile back and move forward. She's not worth it. So Sasha walks in with the ladies, and Ben seems to immediately when he sees Morgan, it shuts down. He like his head goes down, everything like he's just totally defeated. He's in a bad place. He's feels like he's just defeated because I don't want to say the wrong thing. So Miguel says he heard Ben's side and wanted to know Morgan's point of view. So Morgan, she says that he broke her trust on the honeymoon and it bothered her that he lied. She says he has been continually lying. So Miguel and Mitch was like, what's the lie? So Morgan says he has been going to Justin the entire time and lying about it. She says he could have come to her anytime and said that he vented to Justin and it would have been fine. No, it wouldn't have, Morgan. You would have blown up just like you did when you found out from Alexis. You would have said it's unforgivable, an unforgivable offense, and you would have made his life a living hell. No, you wouldn't have did anything different, Morgan. And then Morgan goes on to say that Ben hasn't taken any accountability for lying and hurting her, but he did, Morgan. He did on the month anniversary. And prior to that, on the honeymoon, he was apologizing to you. He called your mama. He called your job. I don't know if he called the job, but he said he was on an apology tour for what happened with the honeymoon. And immediately at the month anniversary, when you were disrespectful and threw down the roses, he apologized then. He did. Morgan, stop lying. You talking about Ben lying and you're over here lying to prove your point. And I can't stand that. That's a pet peeve of mine. So Miguel asked Ben if what Morgan is saying is fair, and Ben, for some reason, agrees. And my only thing to Ben, just stop being so scary. I need you to stand 10 toes down in what you believe, Ben. Tell them what she's doing. So Nate chimes in and says, everyone is trying to be politically correct, but what's up with all the hostility? Thank you, Nate. You received the MVP of the whole episode because stay tuned. Nate has dropped some gems, but just because Nate is calling a thing, and he's holding Morgan accountable, MVP award goes to Nate. And I haven't been as forgiving on you, Nate. I kept saying you sketchy. I still feel you sketchy, but still, I'm glad you stood up. So Nate says he looks at Ben's temperament and is always calm, while hers is always pissed off at everything he does and saying everything he does is wrong. Yes, Nate. Bravo. Because Morgan is always stomping around here like someone stole her bike. That's all Morgan does. So Nate says in the cutscene that Morgan has a personality that is never satisfied, and anything Ben does, she is not going to believe. He wants Ben to stand up for himself. Me too, Nate, and not get ran over by Morgan. I think that this whole disposition that Ben has is indicative of being a mama's boy. He's been coddled. He's been coddled. I'm sorry. That's just what I'm seeing. So Nate said, he's saying to Morgan, it's subjective for her to say that he's doing this against her. They are having an abnormal situation and that no one else in the world is having. Again, Nate, MVP award goes to you. Morgan says it's so abnormal that she needed him to have her back. What? And that's where the betrayal comes in. So she's using all of these words, betrayal, lying, all of those things. She is just really blowing it, in my opinion, out of proportion. Ben says, you know how Ben is. He will fall on the sword. Ben says he came into this process naive and told the expert that he could deal with strong personalities. Yeah, no, Ben. I don't know why you thought you could deal with a strong personality with your type of personality. But anyways, and how he can make someone else happy, and how can he make someone else happy when he hasn't really been happy? You were happy, Ben. I mean, you may have needed some type of therapy or whatever, to deal with, some other issues, but you did not start this process out like this. You have been beat down. You have been beat down, and that's why you're not in a happy space. So he says he signed up for therapy to slay the demons and apologizes to Morgan for having to deal with him. Then therapy is commendable, but Morgan needs to do her part as well. That's just that on that. Ben just says in his little confessional that, it's been tough and he's trying. Whew. So Dr. Pepper is meeting with the couples. Let me shift in my seat. Yeah. Dr. Pepper is meeting with the couples. So Ben is reading while Morgan walks into the apartment, and they have this awkward silence. I mean, her energy when she walks in is just like a wet rag. It's just, ugh. She says she doesn't know if Ben understands the pain that he has caused. I mean, girl, he just apologized. He just apologized when all of the couples were together. Chill out. It's not that serious. Okay? Oh. So Dr. Pepper walks in and says she hopes she can strive for forgiveness, that she hopes that they can, find a way to strive for forgiveness and understanding in their session. Morgan, can you? So she asked Ben, so Dr. Pepper asked Ben, what does he feel about the situation? Ben says he was uncomfortable going to Morgan, and it was less stressful talking to Justin, but he lied to her because he didn't want to deal with the outcome. Yes, he did not want to deal with the outcome. Let's see. Yeah. So he just did not want to deal with the outcome. So Dr. Pepper says her first thought is that he was completely overwhelmed. And she also asked if he looks at marriage from a male perspective with a woman and versus being like a partner or best friends and having each other's back. Dr. Pepper. We need Dr. Viviana on this, because Dr. Pepper, I don't know what footage you was looking at. I don't know what it is, but you're not seeing what we're seeing. And that's not good advice. And you're finding a way to blame Ben for Morgan being a bully. I don't see it. She asked Morgan, so Dr. Pepper asked Morgan what she thinks. She said she thought about it and she wondered if she made it a safe space for Ben to come, and if she could have, said it better, or, said it in a different type of tone. No, you didn't. No, you did not. But he broke her trust, and she took him back, and this is what he does with a clean slate. Now, I don't like calling people narcissists or, trying to diagnose anyone, but it's really giving narcissists. I'm sorry. So Dr. Pepper talks about the importance of trust in a relationship and tells them about an activity of writing a letter to your younger self. Dr. Pepper, is that all you really have? Come on now, Dr. Pepper. You gave them an assignment to do that y'all do every season. Dr. Pepper, I'm not feeling you on for this couple, the advice you're giving this couple. It's a lot of stuff that you could have unpacked. And yes, you could call Ben out, but you could also equally call Morgan out, and you did not do that. I'm starting to realize, like, what is really the point of the experts if they're not going to really call a thing and really get some genuine help for these people? Ben is looking like toe up, and you just telling him to write a letter to his younger self, something that y'all doing for all the rest of the couples. They're not going through everything that couple is doing. Like, y'all making this thing cookie cutter, and it's not. They need some serious help. Morgan needs some help, and so does Ben. All right. So Dr. Pepper arrives at Sasha and Nate's apartment. Sasha says her struggle has been moving too quickly, and he moves a lot slower. So Dr. Pepper reminds her that she did not marry herself. Thank you, Dr. Pepper. That was very insightful. Why couldn't you do that for Ben and Morgan? I digress. So Dr. Pepper reminds her that she did marry herself. Nate says he can be concise and matter of fact. Yes, you can be. Dr. Pepper says he didn't grow up because he didn't grow up with a woman in the house. He may need to practice on more active listening. Most men. Nate asked Sasha if she feels like he's been reciprocating, and she says now he is. Dr. Pepper talks to them about their arguments. Sasha says she was thrown off because she never seen him react in the way he did in a couple episodes when he was like, "You want emotional? Now you got it." And so so when he said that, it wasn't that bad, but okay. So Dr. Pepper says for them to hold hands when they're having arguments or tense discussions. It will modify how you talk because it will have a semblance of being a team. And I can agree with that. Yeah, it brings the heat down in tense arguments. I can definitely say that. And so also Dr. Pepper asks if they have consummated, and of course they have. Why else would they get tattoos on each other? So yeah. Moving to Kristen and Mitch. So Dr. Pepper goes to Kristen and Mitch's apartment. Kristen says, things started out rocky with them, and yes, it did, Kristen. And it began with Mitch when he said he wasn't feeling it, and she began to overcompensate, because she wanted to be the best wife. She didn't want him to continue feeling the way he felt about her, so she overcompensated. She lost herself trying to make Mitch happy, and she's done and walking on eggshells with Mitch. And I love the way Kristen communicates. She's such a clear communicator. I really love that about her. That's her superpower. Is definitely clear communication. And for someone like Mitch, you have to be a clear communicator, definitely a clear communicator. And I agree with her assessment of herself. She has been walking on eggshells, and she has been overcompensating to make Mitch happy because of how he made her feel in the previous episodes. So Dr. Pepper asks, what would it take for her to feel more secure in the marriage? And Kristen says she needs to have 2 questions answered. If he feels the same way he felt on day number 2 of their marriage, and if he could get to a love situation, if they could get to a love type situation where he could, possibly say, I love you. So Dr. Pepper tells her, she's putting a lot of demands, and Mitch is the type of person that doesn't take demands well. And she was like, well, what he get married for? I get it, Kristen. But you have to sometimes with who you have to really meet people where they are, and sometimes you might have to put a little finesse on it. And with Mitch, you might have to do a little finessing. So Dr. Pepper says for her to find a way to speak, just like I said, find a way to speak the other person's language. But I feel like she has been doing that with Mitch the entire time. So Kristen, just figure out how to convey what you're saying and put your, a little finesse on it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe give him something from the environment as you're telling him what he needs or something. I don't know, girl. So Dr. Pepper also advises her to lead with her feelings and how he's making her feel. And then asks Mitch she also asks Mitch, what do you admire about Kristen? And, tell some things that you really admire about her. And Mitch says he does admire her. And so as Dr. Pepper challenges him to do a string of nice words about Kristen. Mitch again says, well, I admire her and she's strong and courageous and she's done better in the marriage than me. Mitch, these are not nice things. You're beautiful. I love the way you make me feel or something. And then he says, well, she's been braver than me. Like, Mitch, come on now. I need you to get some Miguel swag, get some romance. Make it, make her melt a little bit. So Dr. Pepper does an assessment of Mitch, and she says that when he gets fearful, he tends to go to being self-critical and self-righteous. And, when he feels threatened, right point. When you write, you're right, Dr. Pepper. You just went right with Ben and Morgan. So Dr. Pepper challenges Mitch to work through his fears to keep, in order to keep that spark in his marriage. So yeah, that's Mitch and Kristen's visit. So moving on to Alexis and Justin. And it looks like, so when Dr. Pepper walks in, she actually looks like an ant compared to Justin. It was crazy how tall Justin is and how short Dr. Pepper is. She has to be like 4'11". Dr. Pepper is extremely short. And so Justin, Dr. Pepper, she says, how y'all been doing? So immediately Justin, gets a little emotional. Carl Thomas, Mr. Emotional Justin, he gets emotional. So Alexis ends up having to kind of speak for him because he's choked up. Alexis says, is Maya, attacked Newton. We're going through that again. And they sent Maya to a training camp. But the training camp called him back and said Maya is just attacking people. And but as told Justin, don't pick her up because she is inconsistent and she can't, I guess she's just going to be attacking. Justin, I don't know about that, bro. You can't just leave your dog at the trainer. Especially that place looked like a whole jail, a prison for dogs. You can't just leave Maya there. You just said you've had Maya for 7 years. You can't just drop off your pet that has been with you for 7 years. No, Justin, you need to find out or send Maya somewhere where she can get her behavior corrected. There is what's his name? Cesar Milan, the dog whisperer. You need to talk to somebody else because I don't know. I don't feel confident about that trainer. I don't know. I think, who knows? They may be fighting Maya. They may be out there doing some dog fights with Maya. And Maya is probably winning all of the fights. I'm telling you. So let's see. Alexis says it seems like Justin was in a defeated place and she was hurt and she was hurt and didn't want to hurt anymore. So she just decided to forgive and move on. And Justin was in a defeated place because he just don't know what you want, Alexis. And he just feels like his mind is probably playing tricks on him at this point. So Justin says at the dinner, he realized that he perceived her as a dominant personality and very direct, but also noticed that he realizes that she's very sensitive as well, and he needs to be aware of that too. So immediately Alexis, who wants to be a thug, cringes at the fact that he called her sensitive, and she says because she equates that to being vulnerable, and she doesn't like being vulnerable and dwelling in that space of vulnerability. So Dr. Pepper asks her where that comes from, and Alexis says it's coming from a family of strong Black women, and never seeing her mom cry has made an impact on her. Now, I'm just gonna say this: I cannot stand the strong Black woman stereotype, because it allows us in work spaces and personal spaces to get dumped on because you're strong, and you are able to work through things better than others. I can just keep dumping on you, keep dumping, and I don't like that. And when someone like a white woman, if she feels like overwhelmed, or doesn't feel like, or she cries, everyone drops what they're doing to figure out why this woman is crying, but let a Black woman cry. It's like, suck it up, you're strong. And we have been putting that on ourselves as Black women. It has been put on us by others, but we got to stop. It's a time for us to start experiencing the soft life and being supple. It doesn't mean that we're weak, but we have feelings, we have emotions. I don't I hate the thing where we say strong Black woman. It just, to me, it puts a negative connotation, and feels like it just tears us down versus building us up. So Alexis says she sees vulnerability as danger, and it can cause someone to have the upper hand on her. I get it, totally get it. And Dr. Pepper says vulnerability can't equal strength. So she just has to redirect her mind to how she feels about things. So the couples go through their childhood home. Kristen and Mitch go to a baseball field, and Mitch says, he's uncomfortable, but Kristen wants Mitch to see her sporty side. And I can just say, Mitch is definitely not good at baseball. He can't throw. He can't catch. He can hit a little bit. So yeah, Kristen definitely got her. If she want to go to the baseball field or softball field with Mitch, you might as well find somebody else. Call Alexis, girl, because Mitch can't help you. Kristen says softball is an emotional place for her because her parents would be so hard on her if she struck out. She would have to hear the complaints as she's coming back from the team event, from the game. And so they would kind of be hard on her. She said her mom was always hard on her, not only in baseball, but with her grades, with everything. She had to strive for perfection. And that's a lot. That's a lot of weight. And I know, me being a Virgo, I have to find that happy medium with myself, because I know that I have perfectionism. I can easily fall in the perfectionism role. But also, I try not to put that on my son and require him to be perfect at all things, and just let him be a kid and have fun at certain things. I don't want to put that pressure on him. He has to be perfect and do it right. So when I find myself doing it, I try to pull back. I have to really be aware of what I'm projecting onto him, and be aware of what I'm projecting onto myself. And just like for this channel, I probably would have been waiting still if I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted to have the perfect setup, to have clips, to have all the zhuzh for you all. And I'm just not there yet. But I challenge myself to just put it out, whatever it looks like, to just put it out. And it does not have to be perfect. And it's not. But I'm still going to keep trying, and I'm still going to continue to put out content, even when it's not the perfect, the most beautiful thing. Is going to get there. It's just not there yet. And I have to, make sure that I'm not beating myself up about it, if you know what I mean. So with that said, subscribe to my channel so I can get to the Jenna clips and all that stuff, the razzle dazzle of it all. So yeah, let me go ahead because I don't want to belabor the point. Dr. Pepper meets with Lindy and Miguel. So Dr. Pepper arrives and she sees cookies, and it looks like one maybe had broken a piece of the cookie off or eaten a piece, and it was still on the plate. I don't know why that was there, but that was kind of odd. So, Dr. Pepper makes a joke and say, is Santa arriving? Because they really set out cookies for her and some water. So that was funny, Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper says it appears their marriage is going well, but she wants them to go deeper. Lindy says she's working on not being so defensive. She says she was in the kitchen when Miguel tried to help her as she was making her eggs. She got defensive, and it's because she's very insecure about her cooking and her overall skills of being a wife. And then Miguel chimes in, "You're killing it, babe." Okay, Miguel. So Dr. Pepper acknowledges that she has fought hard to get that control out of her life. That she comes from a religion that was very controlling and very strict. So, Dr. Pepper does acknowledge that, and it takes time to get out of that mindset. So Dr. Pepper asked them if they are, if they said that I love you. And so then we get the blank stares for about 30 seconds. They just look and then Lindy eventually says, no, they haven't yet. So Dr. Pepper encourages us to think about love, and and they will understand that the way they feel now, it would be totally different from 10 years from now, because love grows, and it really, really does. Love evolves into many different things. So it's amazing how love manifests itself. So let's see, where are we? Justin takes Alexis to his old apartment and playground where he played basketball and flew kites. So he tells Alexis that his brother took him in when he was 13 and his brother was only 19. And hold on, y'all. Sorry, back, y'all. Okay, so he tells Alexis that his brother took him in when he was 13 and his brother was only 19. Kids, let me tell you, my son just barged in and scared me to death. So moving forward, they had to sleep in the same bed. He said he had a big old king size bed and they slept in the same bed. And so he says that when he asked for help, his brother would tell him to figure it out. And he realized that he had to do things on his own. Okay, I get it. And I feel like, even though that shaped Justin where he is, his brother probably told him to figure it out because he didn't know. You can't pour from an empty cup. If he don't know, he can't tell you. So, and a lot of men get insecure because I can't help you. And so they would tell you just to figure it out, So he was only 19 and, he did what he could. So I'm not really beating his brother down for that. Alexa says she sees why Justin doesn't ask for help or share. And he wants to always figure things out on his own. So Justin brings his kite to fly in the park like he used to do. And Alexis feels like it's weird, but she's going to go with it. But she's judging. So Mitch shows Kristen a bunch of pictures of his childhood. He shows a picture of after the divorce and a picture of the earthquake that he experienced. And he says he tells Kristen that his dad died in 2014 and hope, his dad is proud of him. So side note, when Mitch showed the picture of him with his dad, Mitch was cute. Mitch was really cute. He had curly hair. I couldn't even tell that was Mitch. I thought it was like a Heath Ledger. Mitch was really cute. Mitch says that after the divorce, he definitely became frustrated and displayed a lot of anger. And so that kind of spiraled him into, being a terror of the neighborhood because he was just around here doing all types of things in his neighborhood. So Krista says hearing Mitch's story has created a soft spot for towards Mitch for her, and just to hear a little bit more of his story. So Sasha reads, Sasha, we're at Sasha and Nate, they're reading their letter. Sasha reads her letter to Nate, which basically says, don't worry about the haters. She would end up in a good place in the end. Yeah. So Nate reads his letter and tells his younger self that he's smarter than everybody in all the grades. So yes, this is a match made in heaven. They both very much so think highly of themselves. But I do still feel like I don't know. I get kind of facade feelings from them. I don't know. It's like a facade type vibe. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's just weird. But Lindy and Miguel, they go to a dance class. Lindy says dancing feels like freedom for her because in her previous religion, she was not allowed to dance. She tells Miguel growing up, she also said she wasn't allowed to eat pork or shellfish. And that I mean, I can understand that because, Muslims don't eat pork. So I get it. So Lindy reads her letter after her parents' divorce, and they shipped her off to boarding school. And Lindy reassures her younger self that she's in the best place and she needed to be at in the point of life because her household probably wasn't the best to be raised in, when her mom and dad was going through a divorce. Miguel feels like they both have been dealt a difficult hand, but they have not allowed it to make them bitter. Okay. I can see that. Mitch takes Kristen to his dad's grave. He says that he wishes he could have met Kristen. He's doing a like camera video to his dad and said a video to his dad on the camera and says that he wished, telling his dad he wished he could have met Kristen. She would have liked him. He would have liked her, and that he would have gotten a kick of how they got married. I thought that was really sweet. So Nate takes Sasha to his old house. He said after his dad separated with Maria, I'm assuming that was his dad's wife. Don't really know what happened. And he said he ended up going to an apartment complex and leaving, the neighborhood that he knew and his best friend. He said that his dad wasn't strict. And as he's talking about his dad walks up and his dad expresses that he had to have plenty of confrontations over Nate because Nate was around here terrorizing the neighborhood too, just like Mitch. And Nate was, fighting and stuff. And he said, I always told Nate, don't start a fight, but I'm pretty sure he told him to end the fight because my dad said the same thing. He's also a military man. Nate's dad also said that, people commended him for taking care of his children by himself, but he said, he wouldn't have it any other way. Those are his kids. Why would he not take care of his kids? So, yeah. Nate says he always had to be tough, and he definitely instilled that in Nate. And I think that's where Nate is really stoic. I think he gets that from his dad because, like I said before, I think I clocked that at episode 1 that, him having a military dad, they don't allow you to cry and do all that kind of stuff. They kind of like shut that down really quick. So I feel like that, Nate can be very stoic at times. So I feel like that's where that comes from. So as they're talking, Sasha tells Nate that Nate's dad that he also teared up talking about him. So because his dad started tearing up as he's talking about Nate, and so Sasha lets him know that Nate was tearing up talking about you, and neither one of y'all is trying to cry, but y'all cry about each other. That's so sweet. So Ben, back to Ben and Morgan. Ben is reading over his letter that he shared at their shared apartment. He says he understands why Morgan has their walls up, but hopefully the letter will help them. Ben reads his letter. Morgan walks in. So Ben reads his letter about how he grew up in a strict household and that he always felt he wasn't good enough. Now, when it's Morgan's chance, she says that she doesn't feel comfortable because when she has been vulnerable with him in the past, he's used it against her or shared it. So why did you show up, Morgan? Why did you come up there and listen to his story, let him pour out his soul, and you just say no? I'm telling y'all, it's something wrong with Morgan. Like Morgan has some issues, and she is mean. She is downright mean. And she is going to torture him just like she said last week. She said she's gonna show up and she gonna make you feel exactly how she felt. So yeah, Morgan, she's trying to torture Ben. She's gonna beat Ben into submission. That's exactly what she's gonna do, just like she do with Muay Thai. I said that. I'm telling y'all, that lady, she needs some. I'm hoping that Morgan has seen herself on this show and has enrolled in some therapy. So Alexis and Justin are playing basketball. Alexis showed Justin her scrapbook of honors and awards, and she said hard work and perseverance is what helped her in basketball and in life. So Alexis was a basketball player as well as an honor student. I could tell. I could tell that she was an honor student. She didn't even have to say she was. I could just tell how she communicates and how she feels like she knows everything. I could tell she was an honest student. So she reads Justin a letter titled Bag Lady, basically saying she inherited the independence and not being able to ask for help. And she wants to tell her younger self that it's okay to be a little softer. I completely agree. And I hope you're telling that to your younger self too. So Miguel takes Lindy to a house of Puerto Rico, and he speaks of not being accepted in New York amongst the whites, and then moving to Puerto Rico and not being accepted amongst the Puerto Ricans because he did not know the language. And so he said he learned to hope for the best but accept the worst. I know that has to be hard. So Miguel reads his letter telling his younger self to stay strong, and what didn't kill him made him stronger. And after he finishes his letter, he tells Lindy, I love you. And Lindy says, I love you too. So sweet. But Miguel, again, you haven't seen Lindy's crazy. So pull back a little bit. Keep just, trust but verify. You ain't seen Lindy's crazy yet. Miguel says, he is falling in love with Lindy, and it has been the easiest thing ever. I'm going to keep praying for you, Miguel, because again, Lindy is ticky, ticky, boom, boom, and she can explode at any time, and I'm scared of what that looks like. So Sasha takes Nate to her childhood apartment. She says she used to walk to school from elementary to high school. She walked to school. Sasha says she also used to make jean purses and get them embroidered to sell at school. She went to the mall, got them embroidered, and sold them at school. So, Sasha has always had an entrepreneurial spirit. She's also always wanted to, make money. So it's definitely ingrained in her because I don't think that's something I think that's innate. I think that's just who she is. So yeah, that's just, she and Nate seem like they have this hustler type mentality. And Nate says, he got pumped because of her selling purses, and Nate, was selling fraudulent purses, and almost got, arrested or, hemmed up behind that. So Sasha takes Nate to the house where she lived her senior year. They're called the Pintos. They took her in. Nate asked how Sasha was as a teenager, and Papa, she calls him Papa Minto, said that one time Sasha was going out on a date, and as she, went down for her date, the guy honked, and she was on her way out, and Papa Minto was like, hold up, hold up, hold up. No one honks and you run out. They need to come up and get you. Thank you, Papa Minto. Thank you. And I'm glad that Sasha had that because I know she didn't grow up with her father, and I don't think her mom was in the best relationship. So just having someone like Papa Minto to kind of really instill in her how she should be treated as a woman, I mean, I take my hats off. And that's probably one of the best things that ever could have happened to Sasha. Sasha said he showed her what a father and a loving husband looked like. But my thing is like, well, if they're so close, then I don't remember seeing them at the wedding. I thought that was odd. So Kristen and Mitch go to the beach to read their letters. Kristen tells herself, not to be perfect all the time, and Mitch tells his younger self to remain true to yourself, even when it's difficult, and even though he may feel isolated. But it won't last. Mitch is crying and gets emotional as he is reading his letter, and I was like, oh, because you'll hardly ever see Mitch is so like matter of fact and so rough at times, and just to see him get emotional about that was a lot. And Kristen says she no longer is harboring anger towards Mitch. And Mitch sees the anger is just from fear and feeling alone. So I have a soft place for Mitch now. Who would have thought? Because around episode 1, I was not feeling Mitch. But now look where I am. So that is the recap and review of Married at First Sight, episode 11. Tell me give me your comments. What would you rate this episode? I would say maybe about a 7.5. I will give him about that. But let me know below how you feel about how Morgan is treating Ben, or how do you feel about Ben, how he acts with Morgan? What are you feeling about Sasha and Nate? Are you feeling the warm and fuzzies from them, or are you getting that vibe from them? Also, Alexis and Justin. What do y'all feel about Maya? Should we free Maya? Hashtag free Maya. Do we need to make this a thing? Let me know what y'all think down below. Again, thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure, and look forward for some more videos coming for Ready to Love, Married to Medicine. Those are coming, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, I want to tell you all, follow your passion. Is going to lead you to fulfillment, and there you will find your purpose. Peace.